Hello friends, foreign investors have been selling out funds from India since last October, but that pace has been increased and the total amount is much higher than what it was during the financial crisis 2008-9. During 2008-9, around $14.6 billion has been sold out by a foreign investor. Comparing to that, now it is around 19.8 billion dollar. So that put pressure on the rupee and it has fallen around 3.5%. And in the meantime, last year India's equity market has also raised and to record levels, and its overall market capitalization has increased to $3.221 trillion and it reached the top 5 in terms of market capitalization. Ukraine supplies around 50% of world's neon demand, and which was hampered because of this Russia-Ukraine war. So there is two major producing companies has closed down recently. So because of there is inflation possibility in electronic commodities because the IC and the chips for chip production, neon is essential. So it was starting from mobile phones to cars, the IC isn't necessary for the production. So this was hampered because of this closure. So it's going to increase the prices of all these electronic goods. So a center has recently announced that the interest rate for the Provident Fund has been reduced from 8.5% to 8.1%, which is highly condemnable because this is going to affect a large section of workers because their pension is going to get affected because of this move. So the center has to revise and change the interest rate to 8.5% again. So because many people get just 1,000 rupees pension, and this move is going to affect them. So in 2015-16, the Provident Fund has been investing in mutual funds, riskless mutual funds, and around 25% is invested in mutual fund, and more than 65% is invested in government debt bond funds. Has been invested in government bond funds. So the budget estimate for 22-23 is based on the assumption that the crude oil price will remain at around $75, but it has reached more than the inflation has reached more than 40% in crude oil. So it has to revise the entire estimate. But the center official recently said the crude oil price all is going to cool soon in few months, so that is not going. We don't have to raise that, and only in the fertilizer subsidy is going to be increased by 10,000 crores. They say. So that's true. Because the nitrogen supply, the urea production is affected because natural gas is essential for urea production. The supply is affected because of this war, and also potash import is also affected. So there is a hike in the fertilizer prices, and center is also looking forward to change the fertilizer subsidy scheme into direct benefit transfer scheme so that it can reduce its overall spending for subsidy. Our Central Minister Amit Shah recently in Surat said this cooperative sector is largely going to contribute in realizing Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi's dream of making India's 5 trillion economy. But what the center has done to the cooperative sector to claim like this, they have done nothing to promote the cooperative sector. The cooperative sector is running only in the farm dairy sector, only in the dairy cooperatives there. But you don't see cooperative societies are operating in other sectors. Amit Shah also clearly said that if a private dairy gets strong, only 5 people is going to benefit by that. But if something like a milk cooperative like small get benefited, is more than 2.5 lakh people is going to be benefited by that. So he knows it very well. So why don't he and the government promote the cooperative sector? So what they do, they only disinvest. They all sell out the all government PSUs and disinvest and sell out to their corporate friends. Instead of selling out Adanis and Ambanis, why don't they turn them into a cooperative sector? Like they can, that is also an option they can look for. So they are only giving just a namesake support and lip service to the cooperative sector. In reality, they are not even giving a minimum support to the cooperative sector. That is even NABARD chairman recently said like the farmer producer organization which have been affected because of not getting institutional credit. So they have been facing difficulties in getting institutional credit. The BJP claimed that is going to promote FPOs, but they have not taken steps to get them easy access to getting credit facilities. But the BJP government is preventing the Kerala government from participating the open bidding for the disinvestment of the Hindustan Life Care Limited. If it is really concerned about people welfare, what it should have done, it should have prioritized the state government, Kerala government, to take over the HLR. If it is only concerned about raising funds, it should have kept the bidding process open. Why bother about who is going to get, whether it's a private player or a state government? Why it has to prioritize its corporate friends over a state government? This is not cooperative federalism. It is totally against cooperative federalism. So the center is only interested in selling it only to Ambanis and Adanis, not to state government. So this is very clear. A former RBI governor also recently said like the government has to focus on human capital and the PLI scheme, that a productivity linked incentive is he thinks that it only benefits the large industry and it is he said like the small and medium enterprises, SMEs that requires much support. Minister Piyush Goyal has recently said he's looking at creating a fund for agri-tech startups. So the BJP government is saying that they are going to promote the startups. They have promoted the defense sector. Only a few sectors they have given support, like defense sector and the IT, for the IT sector. But they should have given the agri sector a priority. Now only they are looking to consider about it. And the gold import of India has again reached more than 1,067 tons, which was in 2021 which was last year affected because was less because of the COVID pandemic. It was less around 430 tons. So the government also allocated 500 crores for MSMEs in the pharma sector recently. So in the Lancet, there is a recent report, British Medical Journal, there is a recent report that India accounted for the largest number of COVID deaths. So around more than 4 million more deaths than estimated and reported happened in India itself. But the center denies that not that much death happened during COVID itself. Though the government recently exceeded its asset monetization target. So it set a target of raising 88,000 crores in current fiscal year, but it has exceeded that target. And also cabinet given approval for national land monetization. They have opened a company also for monetizing the assets of the government to private sector. So recently our minister Piyush Goyal said India should be energy independent and the startup has a role to play in it. And he asked for the industry to come forward to self-regulate, getting minimum interference from government. This is not one should expect from a government official. So India needs around 10% of its domestic pulse consumption from imports. So the center is going to set a long-term policy of increasing the pulse production in domestic and also increasing production and also regulating the import prices so that it is more or less the same to domestic prices. The Food Corporation of India recently has said by September it will stop storing wheat in open surfaces and it is going to transfer wheat to the consuming states in an aggressive manner itself. So for the January the industry growth of the industry, so the index production is released by the NSO, National Statistical Office. It is very less. It is only 1.3% growth is noticed, which is very less compared. But it was 0.7% last month. And in manufacturing sector is also the growth is only around 1.1%. And there is a degrowth in the production of capital goods. There is a degrowth of it contracted about 1.4%. And in consumer durables also there is a degrowth of 5.4%. Our finance minister recently said that rising internet exposure and is going to drive up the size of digital economy of India to around $800 billion in 2030. But what India needs to be self-reliant for the real Atmanirbhar. What India needs is much support should be given to the manufacturing sector. It has fallen to see it. It was largely affected by COVID. The growth is around 1.1% recently. So after the BJP government comes into rule, it has claimed that it has promoted Make in India and other stuff, but the manufacturing sector is falling to less than 15% in the GDP share. So it has to be promoted for India to be really self-reliant. That is what is meant by Atmanirbhar. Thank you. I'll see you on the next video.